Q&A that is based on a big announcement that we've made recently. We are moving to Cozumel, Mexico. And as you can imagine, once we announced that, we had a ton of questions coming in. So hopefully this is the answer to some of those questions. At least a first video for that. So how are you feeling, babe?
I feel good. I really wish we could just get on a plane today because I don't handle this stress very well.
Get through this part?
The stress of figuring out what you're keeping, figuring out what you're taking, figuring out where you're going to live, where this house is going to be sold to, and all the logistics is a bit overwhelming.
Yes. So let's start on that. We're talking about packing. So many people probably don't know that we have officially sold the house. We have to close on it still, but we signed a contract within, I think, 2-3 days of listing.
Well, we listed it in November.
Originally,
with us not making updates to the house, and it didn't sell November, December, January, February, so we took it off the market in March, made all the updates we were hoping someone else would want to make, and then relisted it and got 2 offers like a day or 2 later. So timing of year probably played into that. The family that's buying it clearly was God sent because they're moving here for a job. I don't even think they were looking at a house in November. So all the pieces have definitely fit together for the right timing. This is not the timing we thought it was going to be. And that's kind of a lot of questions people have asked are not new to us.
No.
They're very common, and kind of the story of us, I think, answers some of them. So I was thinking last night in bed about when we got married in 2005. Pretty much anybody that knew David knew he wanted to travel internationally at some point or live internationally. We knew it wasn't going to be when we were having babies because
that's a lot of hard.
That wasn't an option. So kind of put it on the back burner a little bit. And then we popped out lots of children. And then several years ago, work was really difficult for you. The boss he was under was not nice, and he was done. And can I say that on here? I'm not going to say names, but I'll just say that.
Whomever that may be.
So David came to me and was like, I'm really ready to start talking about this seriously. Well, at that time, my sister was about to have her first baby, and I knew I wanted to be here for that and help her. So I basically asked him to give me a couple more years to help her. And thankfully, he moved to a different team at work and got under an amazing boss. And so the past couple of years have been praying and planning and fasting and researching while he's been in a better position at work. So it was very tolerable the past 3 years, but a lot of people, I think, when you announce something like this on Facebook, or in general to friends, it seems like a very rash decision and we're just tired of being here, we're going to leave. That's not how it happened. This has been in the works for a very long time. Not the specific location, but the idea of moving somewhere has been on the back burner. God said yes a whole lot of times last year, and we felt okay to keep moving in that direction. The first no I think we got was when the house didn't sell in November, which we kind of expected because the time of year, like nobody's really looking for houses at Christmas time, but we thought we'd try anyways just because.
Yeah, it really wasn't November, it was December 6th. Like we were prepping through November.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
the initial
2
goal,
weeks before Christmas, so we knew the chance was high.
Yeah. The initial goal was to get to Cozumel in their high season, which is different than what most people think. The high season is the first part of the year because, from what I understand, a lot of Canadians and people come from cold weather come there to get out of winter. So that's actually their high season, not what you would think of in midsummer. So we were wanting to get there during the high season because our initial plan was to restart our photography business there and hit up all the tourists because it's a huge tourist location.
We have 4 kids. Sometimes the videos are start and stop.
Okay, so where was I? So our initial plan was to go at the beginning of the year to try and get our photography business started there in their high season. That clearly didn't happen. Now looking back, we are firm believers that when there's a hold on something we've been praying for, there's a reason why. And we knew there was a reason why, we just didn't know the reason at the time, like most people. And over the past few weeks, it's become very clear because of multiple reasons. I had some health issues that need to be resolved and some stuff going on at his work. And then we wanted a family to buy our house. I didn't want an investor to buy it and rent it to somebody that our neighbors all hated. And I know that some people were questioning that halt moment being God's way of saying a no. I understand that. I don't think that we ever felt that way. We felt like...
I think, you touched on this for a second. I think people think when we announce this, because it's new to them, it's new to us. It's not. For the past 2 years, we've been working together. And for the past well over a year, we've known specifically it was going to be Cozumel. And so I think...
And I am going willingly.
She is going willingly.
I am not.
Both of us want to do this. In our religious community, when people are sad we're going, that they often say, well, you sure this is God's will?
In that realm. So we have a lot of religious and non-religious friends. So
Yep.
Non-religious, just don't check out, but I'm going to speak to the religious ones for a second. There have been several times where the confirmation has been so abundantly clear that it would be almost like we were fighting against it if we didn't go, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like the times where we've been really anxious or really nervous or thought maybe this isn't what we're supposed to do. My favorite example is last fall I got invited to a dinner at a friend's house. I only knew her. I didn't know any other women there. I meet this girl as I walk in the door, and I just felt safe enough to share with her kind of what was on my heart and what we were planning, probably because she was a stranger and I knew she didn't know anybody, and honestly the host didn't even really know my story, and so I knew it wasn't going to get back to anybody. And she was so excited, and it really encouraged me because we hadn't shared with anybody in that aspect, and so to hear her reaction was really encouraging. And she wasn't, you get different reactions from strangers than you get people that love you, because there's emotions, there's sadness, they want to be excited, but you're leaving them, and so there's different reactions that you get. So I tell her all this stuff, and she's a believer, and so she was really encouraging me. Well, the host then says, okay, everybody find a seat, and there was like 3 or 4 tables in the room because there's a lot of women there. And you can pick anywhere you want to sit. I sit down, this girl sits in front of me, and the host was like, I printed out random scriptures and put them on your placemats. They're just things that were on my heart this week. So I looked down to read mine, and I'm just going to read it to you because it's still so cool to me. So it's Deuteronomy 8:7-9. For the Lord your God is bringing you into a new land, a land with brooks, streams, and deep springs, gushing out of the valleys and hills, a land with wheat and barley, a land where bread will not be scarce and you will lack nothing. Okay, for non-believers, there's a few words in there that are kind of weird. You're like, okay, wheat and barley, great.
Yay, granola!
Yeah, yay! For me, key words, bringing us into a new land where we will lack nothing. And that has absolutely been the number one fear. When you make a move like this, we are selling our home, we are selling our cars, we are selling most of our furniture. We're getting a small storage room for sentimental items, but for the most part, we are leaving everything. We are leaving family and friends. We are selling everything, and we're not the first people to do that. I get it, but when it's you, it is scary and it is tough. And when I read that scripture, I couldn't believe that was on my plate. And even she was just, super excited for us, whatever. And so that's kind of been my theme verse for this move because, I don't know how you could deny that was put there for a reason for me. And then another verse that we actually have on our wall that I can't remember when this one came in. I may have just seen this verse in Hobby Lobby, but I really like it. And it says, commit to the Lord whatever you do and he will establish your plans. And that's what we've done. We have turned over as much as possible our fears and committed this adventure. And that's where I feel like the Lord has said, okay, wait for just a minute. Okay, now go. Okay, wait maybe just a minute. Okay, now. And it's been very obvious, and I should have been journaling from day one. This video will help. I've written down a few things, but But that dinner was a huge thing for me. And then just committing what we're doing to him and watching the fruit of that come in. The reason Cozumel came to be is because David created a spreadsheet of criteria of what we wanted in a location. And from that, we looked into Bali, Panama, Costa Rica, a lot of different places, mainly for the cost of living, mainly lower cost of living. But there was also a safety issue. There was location.
Internet speed.
Internet speed is huge for work issues.
Are they
photography business.
friendly to people who only speak English at the beginning?
Can you just speak English? Because in Cozumel, you really could survive just speaking English. That's not our plan. We really hope to learn Spanish. But also the last one, big one for us, is homeschooling legal. Because there are some international places where it's not legal for their residents, but it is for Americans, and I didn't want to be the only person that was legal to homeschool for. So all that combined with a couple of other things, Cozumel fell and met all that criteria. Because way back when we talked about if we wanted to be near mountains or oceans, and
so the question that we get almost immediately, 100% of the time is, well, first of all, are you kidding? We're not. The real question we get is why Cozumel? And so that answers a lot of that it fit a lot of our criteria, and a bonus it has is it's super close.
It is very close and cheap. Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. The flights there are the same when we visit your family in Indiana. So
awesome.
Do you know anyone who lives there currently?
I have met a few ladies on the Facebook page who have been so incredibly awesome. Shout out to Wendy and Jennifer.
And I actually made friends with one of their husbands.
Wendy's husband. Both of them are Americans, and they live on the island. And I don't know if you're familiar with Marco Polo, but we send videos back and forth to each other, and they answer all my questions and show me things on the island through the videos. And Wendy, they both have children, and so our kids can video each other. That's probably, somebody asked, how are the kids reacting? Putting ourselves in their shoes is really hard because we have been there. We are the adults. We're making the decisions. They have not been there. They have never moved from this house. So, of course, there are emotions going on with that. I think they are very excited and hesitantly anxious about it just because...
Yes. Depending on what day and what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And which child. So... Ivy is 5. She is oblivious to most things, really.
Yeah, she doesn't. I don't think it's even clicked in her head that this house is going to be gone in a few weeks.
Yes. The other 3 are definitely more aware. Ella is generally the most excited. David was okay. He was actually the first kid we told. And he was good. They all have been fantastic keeping the secret when it was supposed to be the family secret, as Ivy called it.
Which I'm sure lots of people thought we were pregnant. Because that's exactly what that sounded like.
Eden, I think, probably may have had a harder time with it.
I don't think Eden is sad about the actual move. What Eden is sad about is Eden doesn't like change. If we tell Eden to stop sitting on the couch and go up to her room to do her artwork,
she gets sad about that.
She will get sad about that. So, and she's just like me. She's going to cry. Whoever she says goodbye to, she's going to well up. We've already talked about, how do we say our goodbyes but not make it a real goodbye? Hey, you want to do dinner tonight? Okay, we'll see you later. And then never see each other again.
What we should do is actually tell people we're leaving the 30th and just disappear. Oh, we actually left already. Sorry.
Yeah. We're not going to leave without saying goodbye, but I am real bad at goodbyes and I'm an ugly, ugly crier. So I'm going to try to minimize that as much as possible.
I'm not. I'll be I'm so sad.
Whatever. He cries too. We're both going to be... I think when we get on the plane... There will be lots of tears, but then halfway through the flight, we're all just going to be we're probably going to sleep for about 3 weeks. We're going to be so emotionally exhausted.
You know they're going to watch this video, right?
Who?
Our children.
Oh, they know. We've already talked about this. It doesn't matter. It's still going to be really, really, really tough.
It's going to be. They're all excited about where we're going. There are different levels of sad about what we're leaving. I think that's a good way to put that.
Let's see.
The other cool thing on the who do we know who lives there, not just there, but after we started talking about our plans to move from our home country to another country, I feel like people have come out of the woodwork to encourage us. I've made friends with people who live in other parts of Mexico I have friends, I'm in IT, so a lot of the people I work with were in the other country that they moved from their home country, and a lot of them have been very supportive and encouraging, and that has been invaluable. So shout out to my coworkers and people I've met on this journey. Like, that support has really meant a lot.
I think it seems scary on this side, but I think a lot of people who have made the move, and I don't think this is for everybody, I will say that. I'm not even sure if it's for us, but we're going to find out pretty quick. But I think that people who either work internationally or have traveled or lived internationally, it's not as big of a deal as we're all making it out to be. Is it sad to leave friends and family? Absolutely. Yes. Is there going to be culture shock? Absolutely. Are we going to say things incorrectly with a horrible Texas accent? Absolutely. But
Hola,
I can't imagine.
amigos.
Ivy says grassy ass, and it's just awful. But I can't imagine that this is not going to be an adventure that we just hate 100%. I don't. Right. Nothing's set in stone. If it's not working, we reevaluate, and that's kind of how we're going into this move. It's just hard when it's so final here. Like, the house is gone. So,
I think that is an interesting point. So I think it gets real easy in your normal version of life, which I've been living for 44 years mostly, to just keep doing the same thing day in and day out. And that we don't have any critique against that. But it is interesting, like what we're about to do, we're very aware of the changes we're making. We are talking a lot about, okay, is this what we want to be doing? Is this timing working? What about this obstacle? Like, I think when you switch things up like this, you are a lot more intentional about your day-to-day. Like, we're looking at the calendar and we know exactly how many days we have left.
Well, it's a lot of survival
months on months. It's a lot of survival.
We're probably coming out of it the past year, but when you have small kids and you have a lot of small kids, you're in survival mode, and so the years fly by. And even if we weren't going to Cozumel, I'm pretty sure it would be another location. And so I feel really good about this location because of everything that I've learned so far. And there's some things we just won't know until we get there. We have no idea what Texas summer looks like compared to Cozumel. Everybody talks about the humidity and how hot it is in July and August. Guess what? That's when we're moving. Hip, hip, hooray.
Although, I will say, I watched the weather app last year when we knew also we were going. It is often hotter in Texas than it is 22 degrees south of us. And I say south, like we're at the 32 latitude, they're at the 20th. They are often cooler than we are here in Texas because they have the ocean breeze blowing over them. So
if you want to get into the logistics of things that make us real nervous, the electricity usage makes us nervous because, you know, they kind of put things around here where they say maybe don't run your AC so much when we have power issues here, but it's an island. There's still definitely, I think, figuring out how to support
100,000 people.
A lot of people, and more people coming like us. I read an article yesterday about Americans moving to Mexico, so we're those people.
Yay!
We are going as tourists to begin with, visitors, and so we'll be on a tourist visa, which means we have 180 days before we have to leave for, I think it's like 72 hours or something like that.
And one of the reasons why we're doing that is to see if this is right for us. So.
Absolutely. I didn't want to go through the whole temporary residency visa, which you can, and then get there and be like, this is not at all what we want to be doing.
And that was from conversations with the Mexican consulate. Like,
yes.
We were talking with them, what options should we do? They were very friendly to work with and very open. And their recommendation was to go this route. Go as a visitor to start with. And if you like it, and that's what you want to do with your life, then you start going down the path of temporary residency. Then I think after 4 years you can do permanent residency.
I don't think it has to be 4 years, I don't think. The Mexican consulate here has been really great. They'll answer any questions you have online.
But all that to say, we're not going there and hiding under their legal system. Like, we're doing what the recommendation has been said.
Part of this trip has been hard for me because I like to know exactly what's going to happen when it's going to happen. I procrastinate a lot, but then I want to really know what's going on when it's going on. And then there's been a lot of things where we just don't know. Like, we really thought we were moving down there without a permanent place to live because we're renting. We're not buying a house down there at the moment. And so that's been really hard. It's not like we put our house on the market knowing we have a place to go. Definitely renting. Credible places for looking for housing.
So it's interesting. When we were there, we made friends with some of the locals, and their take on it is that some of the houses make it online, but like this many, really. The best way is to find someone who is there. That's either their business, like a real estate agent,
Or Victor. Hi, Victor.
Or basically you just walk through the neighborhood you want to live in, and somebody will put up like a piece of paper that says for rent, and you just pull it down and call the person. Like, that is the culture of renting down there. So it's very hard when you're 1,000 miles away and you're trying to figure out where do you want to live, and all you've got is the internet here.
Because there's very few properties that are listed. There are some really great realtors that I have been talking to that I think are reputable. Their names have come up numerous times with lots of friends, so I feel very comfortable with them. And so that has helped relieve a lot of stress. We do know people down there. We haven't known them forever. We've only known them for a few months, but everyone has been genuinely helpful.
So they have been very welcoming and very encouraging, and I think that is their culture. I've had a lot of friends that have, again, come out of the woodwork in this time period of the past year plus that are from there, and that they confirm that is the culture. The people we've met who've gone there confirm that is the culture. Like, they're very warm, welcoming, they're very family-centric, which are all things that we want in our life.
Our goal is to get involved in a community where we are taken in as part of their family and they are ours. And so we really want our children to see a different culture and kind of be tested a little bit. I don't want to be tested. I hope the children are tested because it's going to be hard. I mean, we go out to eat or go to a restaurant now, even here, and if somebody's second language is English and they're struggling, I'm like, oh, that's going to be us very soon.
But yeah.
I really do think, too, like, David and the kids have been better at working on Duolingo and all these different apps to learn Spanish. But I think, honestly, the immersion into that will be the best for our family. People have told us to watch Netflix in Spanish. A lot of people have learned Spanish that way. But I really think getting there and hearing it and, because you can motion. It's really hard to do an app where they just tell you the word for stove is this. And, it's easier, I think, to hear it. We're not going to leave without saying goodbye, but I am real bad at goodbyes and I'm an ugly, ugly crier. So I'm going to try to minimize that as much as possible. Whatever, he cries too. We're both going to be... I think when we get on the plane, there will be lots of tears, but then halfway through the flight, we're all just going to be like... We're probably going to sleep for about 3 weeks because we're going to be so emotionally exhausted.